So in the beginning of the film, we are shown some boys and girls sitting at a place and playing a video game, because they have taken part in this game. Here, there was the competition of all of them, and the winner was going to get a lot of rewards. There were a lot of people around them. In this game, only the other players, that is, the players, had to be killed and collect as many points as possible. As the game starts, all the players start killing each other a lot, because of which they collect a lot of points. Here, there was a girl who was a new player, and there was a boy who was the master of the game. It means he was a very old player, and he had won a lot of games and a lot of rewards. The crowd is shouting to excite them, so the old player keeps moving forward easily because of his experience. But the new player has to face a lot of difficulties to move forward and had to work hard. That's why she picks up an energy drink bottle called Impulse 9 and drinks a lot in one go. Energy drink is actually a powerful drink. By drinking it, not only does it get strength, but also slows down by 100 times. It means it starts moving very slowly. Now, because of this quality, she ends everyone, including the old player, and wins this game. And she starts to celebrate her happiness with her friends. But she didn't know that her happiness was going to turn into sorrow. Suddenly, the energy drink bottle falls down and breaks, and all the drinks are scattered. After this, the scene suddenly changes, where the girl finds herself the mother of 3 children. Her house was very old and filthy. There was nothing like modern era, and was no electricity either. Seeing this, her pain has increased a lot. Then, when she comes out of the house, she sees that the outside world is also barren, and there is nothing but debris. Even the air was poisonous, in which it was difficult to breathe, and there was a need to wear a mask. After this, the scene of past is shown, where it all started. We see this girl named Val, who was a gamer. Her only purpose in life was to become a good gamer and earn a lot of money and fame. She used to live with her dad in a house, and this is the time of 2017. One day her dad prepares her for a job interview at the hotel, where she gets upset and gets ready in clothes and goes out for the interview. Outside, her friend was waiting for her in the car. Then a little ahead, Val sits on the back seat, changes her interview clothes and wears normal clothes, and instead of giving an interview, she goes to play her favorite game, Field of Fire. Like other games, the Field of Fire is also a game for many players, and its main purpose is to kill others and stay alive till the end. Val thinks that if she wins this game, she will earn millions of rupees and obviously become famous. Then with that money, she will buy a gaming computer for herself. Then her friend tells her that in today's game, an old and talented player named Roy is going to give an amazing performance. So be careful. The girl gets a little nervous. Then very soon, they reach the area where the game was to be played, where the old player Roy was taking pictures with his fans. Now before the first game starts, Val's friend tells her that you have to play with full attention, so that you somehow reach the final game. On which Val says, "Yes, don't worry, I will do this because I want to defeat that arrogant Roy somehow." After a while, all the players sit in front of their computers and the game starts. In the beginning, Val goes ahead of everyone, but after a while, Roy easily leaves her behind. She was so sure that she would win the game that she was enjoying it with the people who came there. Taking advantage of this, Val collects some points. She was just about to win, but she starts trying to kill Roy and get him out of the game. But her attack goes in reverse because Roy kills her and gets her out of the game. Despite this, Val reaches the final match, which was going to happen tomorrow. Then when she goes out with her friend, Roy takes off her mask and tries to get her out of the game, after which he happily starts taking pictures with his fans. After this, when Val's friend goes to get his car, a man who was the owner of the cafe comes to Val and asks her, "Do you know the secret to winning the game?" When she hears it, she is quite surprised. Before she asks that man something, he holds her his card and leaves from there. When she comes home, Val secretly tries to go to her room without making a sound, but her dad sees her. Now there was no way she was caught, so she tells him the whole truth, that I didn't go to give an interview but I went to play a game, which is my passion. After hearing this, her dad gets angry and tells her that tomorrow you will go to give an interview and you will do a job there. But she clearly refuses and tells her dad that how can I go? Tomorrow is the final of my game, which is very important for my future. Like all the other parents, Val's dad also tells her that there is nothing in these games. They have no future. But even now Val remains stubborn. She doesn't listen to him and goes to her room. After a while, she starts watching the game she played today on the internet. When she sees Roy at the top, she gets very angry. Then her attention goes to the card given by the owner of the cafe, and she remembers that she had talked about the secret of winning the game. Now, because she had the desire to take revenge and win, she immediately goes to the card written on the card. This place was actually a game cafe where some people were playing games on their computers and enjoying a lot. Then the owner of the cafe comes to Val and tells her to sit down and play the game. Now here, Val is very surprised that he's only telling me to play the game. So why did she give me her card? But without paying attention to it, she sits down to play the game. She chooses the most difficult level of the game, which was impossible for her to play. Seeing this, the owner of the cafe gives her the same Impulse 9 energy drink and says that it is not an ordinary energy drink. If you want to see its magic, then Val listens to her and takes a sip of it, after which, everything around her starts to look very slow to her. Because of this, the game, which was impossible for her to play a while ago, becomes easy for her. But then, as she comes back to reality, she finds herself in front of the cafe owner at the table. Now surprised, Val asks her what had happened to me, on which she says that whoever drinks this energy drink Impulse 9, time slows down for him. And it's been an hour since you drank this energy drink, but you don't know how the time has passed. That's why you're so shocked. And now the more you drink this energy drink, the slower the time will be according to it. Now the person who drinks it, the time will only slow down for him. Whereas in reality, time will keep moving forward with its speed. And then when that person comes to his senses, he will have come much ahead in time. Well, now he asks her for $500 in exchange for a bottle of energy drink. After hearing such a big amount, Val is quite surprised, but she refuses to take it, because first of all, it was very expensive, and secondly, she believed that to win the game, using such a thing is to cheat in the game. But then she shows him her mobile phone on which Roy's was calling, from which she immediately understands that Roy also used this energy drink to win the game. This was the reason why he doesn't let any other player stand in front of him. Now after knowing all this, she gets ready to buy the bottle of Impulse 9. Then the next day, before the game starts, she puts the bottle of Impulse 9 next to her computer, and as the game starts, she drinks a sip of it, and taking advantage of everything in the game to slow down, she gets some points. Seeing it, Roy also drinks Impulse 9 in a small amount, and one after the other, leaving everyone behind, comes to the top. Now seeing this, the pressure on Val increases, and she was also very disappointed. That's why now she drinks the entire bottle of Impulse 9. Now, because she had taken a large amount of energy drink, the time becomes very slow for her. Taking advantage of it, she kills the player of Roy and finally wins this game. Everyone, including her friend, is excited for her happiness, but then her Impulse 9 bottle falls down and breaks. This was the same scene that we have seen before. Now the scene comes again from here, where we see Val sitting on a chair in the same old house, having her baby in her hand. Then, after a while, her friend comes here wearing dirty clothes, who is actually her husband now. He tells Val to get ready after putting the child to sleep. Now, after finding herself so weird, Val was very surprised, and like older people, She was also shivering, seeing a ring in her hand. Many questions start to arise in her mind. Now, to make herself a little normal, as she goes down, she also meets two children who were calling her mummy. Seeing this, she loses her consciousness. All of them are scared, and as soon as she comes out, she sees that there is nothing but dust outside. And this is the same scene that we have already seen. Here, she is surprised to see them living in a tent and using the washroom openly. Then here she finds out that after using the Impulse 9, she has reached from 2017 to 2029, means 12 years ahead of her time, because time was only slow for her. The rest of the world was going at its own pace, and now that reality was in reality. And she was so surprised because she did not know that time had come so far, because she was in slow motion. The place where they were living, this whole area was surrounded by tall walls. Because this whole area was separated from the desert, there was a dangerous creature in the desert that attacked humans. Then, to escape from them, they guard the main gate over and over again. Along with that, she also finds out that in the past, the people who drank the Impulse 9 were now awake here at this time. Who woke the sea, given the name Pulsar, means who used the Impulse 9. Due to the excessive use of the Impulse 9, people were suddenly reaching many years ahead, because of which there was a lot of chaos in the whole world. Obviously, everything was destroyed by this, and the people here believed that Pulsar was responsible for all this destruction. That's why they were not allowed to live here. But there has only one way to recognize Pulsars. That is, if a person doubts his present time, then he is a Pulsar. Now here, Val does not open her mouth by saying bad things about Pulsars and treating them badly, and she keeps it hidden from everyone that I am also a Pulsar, means I have never used the Impulse 9. After going home, Val remembers about her dad, but as she looks at the table on the side, she sees a pot of her dad's ashes there. When she sees it, she understands that my dad is dead, and she starts crying. In the meantime, a policeman comes here and tells her to go to the washroom to clean it, where she first refuses. But when he reminds her that you are a cleaning inspector and this is your job, she has to go. The poor girl has to clean the toilet for many hours. Well, along with time, Val also gets used to living in this dilapidated environment. One day she finishes all her work and goes to pick up her children from school, where her daughter gives her drawing and says that, "Mum, you are my hero." But because Val was very tired, she does not see the drawing of the child and does not listen to her. When she comes home, she sees that her husband was sitting on the cycle and pedaling hard. Actually, because there was no electricity there, he was making electricity to play the Field of Fire game. Now Val is very surprised to see her favorite game, and she was also happy. When her husband goes out of the house, she sits with her children and starts playing the game. After a while, her husband runs home. He was very scared and says that today it was your turn to do the duty of the guard, which you had forgotten, because of which a man who was guarding did not get a chance to come inside. So he became the victim of that dangerous creature. Both of them immediately run out of the house, where that man's wife was crying. Being ashamed of her mistake, Val starts going home crying. But her husband says that your duty time is not over yet. Do your duty. Then she is sad and completes the work of the guard. Even after coming home, she was very sad and realizes that this place is not for me, meaning I cannot live here. That is why she intends to go to that desert where she was a dangerous creature. But before going, she writes a letter to her husband, in which she tells him that I am a Pulsar. Then the next day, she leaves with the intention of never coming back. The next morning, when her husband reads that letter, he does not believe at all. Val wanders on barren land and reaches a broken building, and this building was none other than the gaming cafe. She goes inside the cafe and starts looking around. When the owner of the cafe comes out from behind the counter, she is very surprised to see him. She sees that there is no effect of time passing on his age. He is still young, but he does not tell her the reason behind it. During their conversation, the owner of the cafe finds out that Val is actually awake a week ago. Here he agrees that yes, many lives were really ruined because of Impulse 9. Then he says to Val, but I have a plan to get you out of all this. He brings a big bottle of Impulse 9 and gives it to Val to drink. And he says, if you drink it, you will never come back to this world again, because you must have reached the time of many years ahead. You will not come at this time because by then you must have died. Yes. My advice is that you also play the game while drinking it. Now Val likes this idea of a tilde sensei negation a superscript 1 a tilde sensei negation a superscript 1 him. That's why she sits next to Impulse 9 to play her favorite game. But when she bows down to pick up the bottle of Impulse 9, her eyes go to the drawing that her daughter had made for her and said that you are my hero. After giving the drawing, she gets lost in her memories and starts remembering the beautiful moments spent with her family. After it, she decides not to drink the energy drink and decides that I will spend the rest of my life with my family. With this intention, she goes back to her house, where she sees her husband doing the duty of a guard at the gate. He was very upset with Val, so he opens the gate and does not let her come in, and says, "You were Impulse. You cheated us all," on which Val apologizes for her actions. Now her story was going on. Then she hears the sound of bullets fired from a distance, because that dangerous attacker was moving towards their area. Then it comes to light that this dangerous creature that has been made is none other than this group of humans, but they were enemies of humans. They used to eat their flesh. As she comes close, her husband quickly opens the gate and brings her inside, after which the alarm goes off here. Everyone gets scared and starts running away from here. Val asks one of them, on which she says that we are all going towards a ditch, because we have no way to stop those attackers. Knowing this, she is sad, and because everyone here was very upset with her, she makes a quick plan to win everyone's trust. She says to her husband, I will stay here and try to stop those attackers as long as possible, and he was not going to leave her alone here. When Val tells her to go away from here for the sake of her children, she listens to him and goes away from here. After this, Impulse gets ready to fight with a big bottle she brought with her. Then the attackers reach the gate and move forward to attack. Then here, Val finds out that the leader of these attackers was none other than Roy. Where Roy tells her that I have actually arrived a few years earlier. I attacked everyone and ruled everywhere, and look, today I have become a cruel leader, and I can kill anyone who comes in my way. But his threats have no effect on Val, because before these people came, she had drunk the entire energy drink. As proof, she throws the empty bottle in front of Roy, after which she suddenly goes back to slow motion. Then she fires bullets at the gas can, due to which all the attackers get up in the air. Then she fires continuously and ends them all except Roy, but unfortunately, she also gets 2 bullets, due to which she gets injured and falls to the ground. Then Roy comes and fires at her, but his aim is missed. Taking advantage of this opportunity, she fires bullets at Roy and ends him. After this, she fires a flare gun towards the sky. Seeing this, her husband gets a signal that there is no danger in their area. He is safe in every way. On the one hand, her husband was happy to give the signal towards the sky. On the other hand, Val was counting her last breaths. She was also smiling while dying. With her smile, this movie ends here.